we are looking at the recent crime cases against men, be it the Atul Subhash case, be it the Raja Raghuvanshi case, or the most recent one, the Ketan Agarwal case in Pune, all of these have created a new algorithmic wave which are talking about that this is how modern women look like. Men should be scared of women, men are oppressed, and so much more. But you know what is the problem with this narrative? The fact that such complex issues which should be looked into, analyzed and reformed, rather they are being reduced to a social media battle between men versus women. There are multiple forces in society such as patriarchy, social reproduction, endogamy, caste, capital, which are shaping up these crimes. But at the end of the day, we still need to discuss that how crimes are rising up, gender crimes are increasing, and at the same time, we cannot forget that there has been a systemic oppression against women, and such cases cannot be the reason to forget that systemic oppression. All needs to be addressed, but there can't be just a decision to cater to just one of them. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session, we are not going to look into the details of the Ketan Agarwal case. Rather, we are going to take a deeper dive and understand that what are the factors which are present in society, which are going up and forming the narrative men versus women, and how we need to have a deeper analysis into multiple other factors to understand the situation of our society better. So when we are looking at the present scenario, we have to of course start with the Ketan Agarwal case, and this whole case where there is alleged murder of Ketan Agarwal by his fiancée, this has become one of the most discussed criminal cases as of now. And this has come up with the followed up attention that we were talking about the previous cases, and the discussion on men's right, matrimonial laws, gender justice that have taken up the whole social media. But this is the time where we have to understand that when we are looking at such cases, we have to go beyond the crime and look into the factors which are facilitating them in the society as of now. Because when we are talking about this very case, if you think about it, why did it go viral? What was the reason behind it? Think, this was the times that we are seeing the reversal of conventional gender roles also in crime. We are seeing emotional storytelling which is amplified by digital platforms. They are putting up new narratives, they are putting up new allegations, and of course there is a very intense public discourse which is coming especially for men's right and gender justice. Amidst this, you also have to look into that we are also seeing calls for National Commission for Men, because as of now we do not have any centralized data for crime against men. But when we are talking about all of this, we have to reiterate and understand as society that individual crimes do deserve justice. All of these that we were discussing, but they should not automatically mean that our understanding of gender violence, which has been structural, which has been systemically present against female, that is put out of the picture. Now this is where we have to dissect the reason behind it. That why exactly when we are looking at exceptional cases, they dominate the whole social media feed that you are looking at, but the systemic violence that exists every day, dowry deaths, when we are looking at sexual harassment, rape cases, they are absolutely invisible. They are something like that, it keeps happening. That is something does not shrug you so much more. Another example I would like to give you, just food for thought. When we are looking at the rape cases, Nirbhaya, it is being named. When we are looking at the cases against female, they are named by the female as victims. Trisha Sharma, Nirbhaya, and so many more. But again, when we are looking at the cases done by female, let me give you an example here. If you are trying to recall the name of the cases, most of them, especially which have been done to women and done by women, they are going by their names itself. It is very rare that we see that victim men are being named there. For example, Trisha Sharma case, in that we are not seeing coming up of the husband's name. So this is how society has subconsciously operated from behind, and we are not able to look behind that veil. And this is where we would like to understand that why do the exceptional cases are dominating all of you and around. First is of course the algorithmic effect. Such exceptional cases, they create public shock, they have emotional engagement, they are new, they are controversial, and these rare crimes where female perpetrators are present, they receive disproportionately high number of views. So of course, the feeding into the system because of the shock value, the unacceptability of it brings it into the main discourse. But that's not all. We also have to understand at the very same time that there is a very simple media sociology which comes with it. What is that sociology? A very good phrase here might be able to give you, nudge you to understand this is when dog bites a man, that is not being reported because that keeps happening. But if a man bites a dog, that will be reported, that will be talked about because that is unusual, that is not seen. So routine events are normalized, they are not put, be it as I mentioned dowry deaths. When we are looking at rare events, they become the headline news, and the digital platforms and the news channels, they of course amplify the anomalies other than the structural realities which are present in the society. And this is something that I am not just saying, there is numbers for that. More than 4.4 lakh crimes against women. And amidst this, cruelty by husband or relatives remains the largest category. Thousands of dowry deaths continue annually, and we have multiple incidents where there is underreporting, cases are being taken back, threats, and so much more. And this is where we also need to bring into the perspective that we need more data about crimes against men. Because yes, there is misuse, because yes, there is underreporting due to stigma also, there are mental health concerns. And this is where when we are talking about law favoring them or when we are looking for National Commission for Men, these all make sense because that is where we are trying to address the structural issues. But what are these structural issues? I have mentioned them, but let us now talk about them in detail. What are these big concerns right in front of us? Patriarchy, caste, endogamy, and so much more. Because when we are looking at marriages in India, they are the ones which are responsible to preserve the caste identity. They are the ones which will be protecting family honor, wealth, business network, and inheritance as well. And if you see all the recent cases, you will be able to understand that how it is a complex web of all of these factors that have played a very direct role in all the crimes against men that we have just talked about. Apart from that, in the recent case where we are talking about Ketan Agarwal, a bigger factor is endogamy. What is endogamy? Endogamy refers to marrying in the close-knit community in own caste, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has already said endogamy is where we are seeing the foundation of caste reproduction. This is the way that caste will never go out of the picture. Now, if just for a minute we put the Ketan Agarwal case through this very lens, you will see that there were tensions about social capital, there were tensions about family honor, there was a tension where the no by the girl did not mean enough, and whatever materialized into a crime is not justified at all. But at the same time, we have to look into the forces of society which are shaping up these crimes. And amidst this comes the demand for National Commission for Men. Now let us understand that how justified is this demand. So when we are looking at the recent cases, they have definitely highlighted the immense mental health struggles which are present for men, the lengthy matrimonial disputes, the atrocities that come with it, the misuse of laws, and also there is a need for proper institutional support that needs to exist for male victims. And of course, there are reasons to have this structured. There will be recognition of male victims, there will be gender neutral counseling, legal aid will be present, dispute resolution. We can probably save many lives without looking into the gender of it. But at the same time, when we are looking at this demand, this is again addressing only one side of the problem. Because we have discussed the evidence which exists. So as of now, these concerns need serious attention. At the same time, we have to remember that these individual instances of case crimes against men does not mean that there is no systemic oppression against women. There is so much more that is happening. We have to recognize the numbers. We have to recognize the factors in the society shaping them. And justice must expand the protection to men as well, but at the same time, we should not be replacing one vulnerable group with another. It should not be a choice. It should not be a case of men versus women. So what needs to be exactly done? How can India move forward when we are talking about towards structural reforms? For that, we need to understand the kind of vicious cycle we are caught up in terms of society forces which are responsible for the crimes happening across gender. So primarily it comes in the broader section of patriarchy, which has multiple socio-cultural norms. We have rigid gender roles, there is endogamy present in terms of caste, excessive control over marriage, preservation of wealth and status. This all leads to gender-based violence, not specifically towards women only, but also against men. Because it is also multiple gender roles, rigid gender roles are centered towards men. For example, the burden to earn and feed, the expectation of certain amount, and so much more. And add to this, we are seeing algorithmic polarization, narrative setting. And what is this doing? This is taking our focus away from structural reforms. Structural reforms which should be focusing on justice for every victim irrespective of the gender. Dowry deaths should get conviction, dowry deaths should be addressed, there should be due strengthening of the process no matter what the gender is. Mental health support irrespective of gender should increase, and the caste-based control over marriage needs to be addressed through awareness, through education, which actually means something other than just being able to write the name or make some calculation, and evidence-based policies which come with not just narratives or just propagandas, rather with the intent of changes. Because these crimes clearly highlight that this is where we are seeing the intersection and the fallout of because of that intersection of societal forces which is creating such situations, such crimes in our country, which are heinous at the individual level, but again, product of what is unfolding in our society. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.